Greetings, my name is Ram Hotep, broadcasting on behalf of 13scienceastrology.com. That's the number 13, signs plural, astrology.com. Doing this video on the Pleiadians. Who are the Pleiadians? Are there really beings that live in the star system of Pleiades? Now basically, the Pleiadians are a group of beings that live in the star system of Pleiades. According to ancient texts, there are groups of beings that live in Pleiades, in the star system of Pleiades. Now, many people are very familiar with the Pleiadians because, for one thing, they started making contact with certain individuals that channeled in the Pleiadians back in like the 70s, as early as the 70s, I believe. They started contacting humanity through certain various channels. And when they did this, they actually were effectively broke the quarantine, which is a good thing. They effectively broke the control grid in the quarantine and were able to effectively make contact and channel this information through certain vessels. And these different people wrote books about the Pleiadians. And I own a couple of these books myself, and there's information that you can get on YouTube about people that are actually channeling the Pleiadians. Now, many people that know about the Pleiadians know that the Pleiadians are, for the most part, on humanity's side. And I say for the most part because there's two groups of Pleiadians that I know about. One group of Pleiadians contacted, normal people, I guess, channels and psychics and things of this nature, and they channeled these psychics, on behalf of humanity to teach humanity about what took place in the future, because the Pleiadians exist millions of years ahead of us, and they came back to humanity to let us know that we did break free from the control grid of the Matrix effectively. We did break free in the future. We did do that, and that happened according to the Pleiadians. But there's another group of Pleiadians, actually, that's a rogue group of Pleiadians. What I mean by rogue group is they're not affiliated with the Pleiadians that are tied into the Galactic Confederation of Light. This group of Pleiadians are working with the government, in exchange for different things. They're working with the government in exchange for things that they may want. So that's another group of Pleiadians. Now I want to point out another thing about the Pleiadians is that people don't realize, like, they think about the Pleiadians, and a lot of people have, and I don't agree with this at all, but a lot of people have painted the Pleiadians as being mainly Caucasoid, like a Caucasoid group of extraterrestrials. What I mean by Caucasoid, meaning Caucasian-looking, blonde-haired, Nordic-looking, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Pleiadians. While there are Pleiadians that are blonde-haired, blue-eyed species of Pleiadians, there are Pleiadians that are melanated. There are Pleiadians that actually are grays. Some of the grays are Pleiadians. You must remember, when you deal with extraterrestrials and you deal with like titles like Pleiadians, the Andromedans, and the Syrians, and different beings from different star constellations, you have to realize that these extraterrestrials are just like anywhere else. I mean, it's just like if you were to deal with Americans. Americans come in all shades and colors. And it's the same thing with the Pleiadians. The Pleiadians are not just your Nordic, blonde-haired, blue-eyed group of entities. And when a lot of these people channeled them, they drew pictures of them as looking like that. And maybe because those are the group of Pleiadians that were contacting them. But I know for a fact that the Anunnaki that you read about, those group of beings that came to this earth mining for gold, and they were from another star constellation, another galaxy, which is the 19th galaxy, that were transporting gold back and forth from this galaxy to their galaxy. They actually, when their ozone layer depleted, they went through a situation with the reptilians similar to what we're going through now. And their ozone layer got depleted because the reptilians wanted to destroy their atmosphere the same way they're doing here. They're destroying our atmosphere through burning up oil, this primitive society that the reptilians tend to create wherever they go. Because they have, and the reason why they do this is because they have to live. They can live like that. Like, they can live on a planet where the ozone layer is destroyed or whatnot. Because most of the time they live inside of the caverns of the earths and inside of caverns and the planets that they live anyway. So they can live like that. But the thing is that they want to eliminate the surface dwellers, those humanoid type of entities. So they did this in another galaxy. What's going on here, what the reptilians are doing here, the Pleiadians, and I'm going to explain to you why the Pleiadians teach this, but the Pleiadians teach that this group of reptilians did this to them or whatever. And it's the same group of Pleiadians that are actually the Anunnaki, because the first Pleiadians were the Anunnaki. When you read about the Anunnaki, it's a group of Anunnaki, the ones that created humans, moved to the Pleiades, excuse me. They moved to Pleiades. And this is a part of the ancient text. When you study the ancient text, they moved there millions of years ago. And they set up homes there because their environment where they were from and their planet were being destroyed. So they were the first Pleiadians, the Anunnakis. Then the reptilians came there and followed them there. And they went through a situation with them there. So this is why the Pleiadians can successfully tell us that we can win and that we have won, is because they already went through a situation with the reptilians. And they already defeated the reptilians. And basically, we're the children of the Anunnaki. So when we deal with that, basically, they're letting us know as their children that we can win. This is the group of Pleiadians that they're channeling. Now, the Anunnaki come in all colors, all shades. We talk about Anunnaki. So that's just a brief introduction as far as like who the Pleiadians are. This was a question that was asked to me. So I was putting out this information based on a question and inquiry. The Pleiadians are several groups of extraterrestrials that live in the star constellation of Pleiades. And you have your Greys, your reptilians, your humanoid-looking Anunnaki. You even have entities and beings that live in Pleiades that don't hold physical shells, that live in the star constellation of Pleiades. And then many of the Pleiadians came here. They began to channel humans to pass on information to help us to break the quarantine, to help us to break free from the control of the reptilians, so that they can exist. Because this is another thing I want to point out, that I'm going to shut the video down. If we don't, well, we already won, but you know what I'm saying, if we didn't win here on this planet, then Pleiadians won't be able to exist in the future. Because when you study time in reference to extraterrestrials, they don't deal with time. To them is now. And what I mean by now is it's a compilation of past, present, and future. That's the now to them. So what we do here now affects them in the future, because I already told you they're a million years ahead of us. So this means that they're in our future. They are our future. So when we talk about the Pleiadians, really, that's actually, well, I know many of you may not understand this, but that's us coming back to ourselves to teach ourselves in more of a primitive state that we did win. So this is who the Pleiadians really are. They're a group of beings that came back to help us to break the quarantine from basically to break the quarantine or whatever, and to they came back actually before the quarantine is going to be broken. Excuse me, because the quarantine is going to be broken at the end of this year. So they came back to basically help us to break the quarantine early, so that we can begin to break free from the mental control of this group of beings that we call the reptilians and the Luciferians and the Satanists. So that's who the Pleiadians are. Hope this video helped. For more enlightening information, visit my website, 13scienceastrology.com. I appreciate you watching. Peace and love.